Do you and other Muslims see Christians and Jews as infidels, even though you don't go around saying it, but you are taught that we are infidels? Yes or no?
No.
You're not taught that with the Quran or anything?
Not explicitly in the way you mentioned it, absolutely not.
But it is being taught.
No.
We're not infidels.
Reverend Jesse, these are not yes or no questions. These are questions that need to be unpacked. And
I'm getting the feeling that you're saying that you are taught that.
no,
we are
and I'm
infidels.
not trying to run away from a question.
Right, I understand. So does the
I'm trying to be true to the question as somebody in my capacity who knows what I know, and not to give a
Of course.
Yeah.
And so you're not taught that we Christians and Jews are infidels.
No.
The Quran doesn't.
I've never been taught that. If you're asking me, have I ever been taught?
I mean, does the Quran teach that at all? Can we expect more Muslim terrorist attacks in this country?
You know what? I can't. I don't know the future. I can't predict the future. I hope not.
Who are you supporting in this presidential election?
Lesser of two evils, Hillary Clinton.
You think Hillary Clinton is a lesser evil than Donald Trump?
I don't know, man.
You know, Donald Trump said that he's going to stop the Muslims from coming in until he can figure out what is going on. Is that a good idea?
Hell no.
Why not?
Because it's ignorance. He's feeding into media fear-mongering.
But isn't it best the responsibility of our government to protect we the people first?
Yes, it is.
And since he doesn't know the extent of what's going on because we have a crooked government right now, what's wrong with Donald Trump wanting to do that, saying that he will do that?
He's saying that he's going to stop it altogether.
Right.
He's going to stop Muslims altogether.
Right.
That's a categorical racial profiling that America doesn't stand for.
Muhammad was a prophet, right?
Yes.
And so is Muhammad the same guy that used to marry or date or have sex with young girls?
Yeah, great question. So that's one of the myths that's out there, right? So the prophet Muhammad, may Allah's peace and blessing be upon him.
You have to say that every time?
I don't have to say it every time.
Why do you say it every time then?
There's two blessings to it.
And so did Muhammad have sex with young girls?
So it was revealed to him, and he took a wife who was not of age.
Was she like 12 or something, right?
Yeah, I don't know the exact age, but she wasn't of age.
And he was like 90.
He wasn't 90.
No, I'm kidding.
But in her perspective, he probably was 90, right?
That's right.
Yeah. No. And however, the time of the consummation of that marriage was delayed, right, until she became an adult.
So you actually believe that Muhammad married this girl, took her home, slept with her, but no sex until she became an adult?
I believe that Muhammad married her, put her as a part of his household, and waited until she was an adult to consummate the marriage.
Are you serious? You believe that? Why did he have to marry a child and then wait until she become an adult before he had sex with her?
Yeah.
And taking her to his home and everything?
Yeah. So.
Are you a Christian?
No, I'm Muslim.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you like one of those Allahu Akbar people?
What do you think that word means?
Well, I don't know what it means, but I know when I hear it out loud, what's going to happen next.
What's that supposed to represent?
Chopping off the head.
Chopping off the head?
Allahu Akbar.
So what does that word mean?
I'm about to take your head off.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, what's the actual definition of that word?
Die.
Die. It actually means God is great. That's all it means. God is great.
Well, why do they have to yell that out before they get chopped your head off?
Because they're radical. And have you ever been to a mosque?
Oh, yeah.
Have you asked the imams there how they feel about radical Muslims?
No, when I see them get on their knees and they go, oh.
So what you're doing is
what the?
So what you're doing is making fun of the way we pray. Is that what it is?
It scares me. Oh, no, they're trying to cut my head off.
Do you speak? Do
you date outside of your race?
Oh yeah, I have. I've only dated outside of my race.
You only date outside. Why is that?
You don't choose who you love.
Why did you choose your own people?
Like I just said, you don't choose who you love. I don't choose who to love.
So you walk past the Allah Akbar girl, and
Can we,
And
call,
you-
can
so
we
you-
call them Pakistani? Can we call them Pakistani
Okay.
girls
All
instead
right.
of
so you
something
so you have a
racist?
line of women, right? You have the Pakistani, you have the white,
Girls
you have the
don't,
Mexican,
girls
you have
don't
the
line
black.
up for me.
So
Girls
you
don't
walk-
line up for me.
You will always pass. I ain't gonna love that one. I love the white girl.
No, like I said, I don't choose who I love.
Which race have you dated?
Which race? I've dated Asian, as in,
Asian.
yes, Asian, Mexican, and yeah, that's about it. I don't choose who I love. If I talk to someone I love them, I'm gonna date them.
Oh.
If I talk to someone I don't like or love them, I'm not gonna date
But
them.
if you're not talking to the Pakistani woman, it's hard to believe the Muslim because they've been taught at childbirth, that you can deceive the infidel, you can befriend them, you can do whatever you taste to deceive them in order to take them down. So like you sound so nice, you sound so friendly, maybe want to join up, right? But because I know you can't believe, because they've been taught to deceive, it's hard to believe the Muslim, even when they're nice like you appear to be, it's hard to believe it because your guy's been trained to deceive the infidel. Let me ask, do you love the Jews?
Well, I love some friends of mine that are Jewish. I don't know all the Jews, so I can't love all the Jews. But just to answer that question,
Do you
to
love
kinda
the
go back
Jews?
about, huh?
Do you love the Jews?
I love some of my Jewish friends. I don't know every Jew, so I can't say I love the Jews. I feel like that's just a blanket statement.
And so, but if you don't love all, you love none.
That's true. That's true.
So why don't you love
even
all the Jews?
why don't I love all the Jews?
Yeah.
Just because I don't know all of them.
But do you need to know them in order to love them?
I guess to answer that question, why do Muslims want to conquer the world?
Right.
It's not so much conquer the world. It's like a referral program. You know, when you like refer someone to Netflix or a Lyft or some random thing, you get like points.
All right.
It's kind of the same. Like God's like, help spread my message, you're gonna get points. And who of us doesn't, want these points, right?
But
So-
God doesn't want to conquer everyone. If they don't want it, He'll leave you
Yeah.
in your hell. He doesn't miss sleep just because you don't want to come to Him. He's not going to conquer you. He'll just leave you alone and let you suffer and die.
I agree. Conquer, I guess, isn't the best word to describe it. It's more like spread peacefully. I feel like, because in Islam it says la ikraha fi din, which means you can't force anyone to do anything in the
Right.
religion.
Yeah.
So you can't force anyone to get married, can't force anyone to accept the religion, you can't force anyone to do anything.
Muslims love everybody.
Do they love the Jews?
Yeah, there's no
They
difference
don't
in
see the
people.
Jews as their enemies, infidels?
No.
Have you ever been taught that while growing up, that according to the Muslim religion, Christians and Jews are infidels?
No.
You love the Christian too?
Yes. Christians and
if-
Jews, even in the Quran, it doesn't tell you that. It only talks about specific people that was going against God.
So you were never taught that the Christians and Jews are infidels and worthy of death?
No.
In your religion, the Muslim religion, do you see the Christian God and the Jewish God the same as the Allah God?
Yeah, it's all one
It's
God.
the same God.
It's the same
And so
God.
Christians are going to heaven,
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of Christians in heaven.
and the Jews too?
And there's going to be a lot of Jews
Really?
in heaven. Yeah.
Do they know you feel this way?
Yeah, I was there.
I dare you to go in a mosque and say this. So even though the Quran says Christians and Jews are infidels, worthy of death, you could befriend them, deceive them, lie to them, to get them, to entrap them. You're saying that when it was translated, whoever translated put that in there, but that
I have
wasn't
never
there.
read that at
That was-
all, even in the translation. I have never even read that in the translation.
And if
so
it is in there, are you saying that's a mistranslation?
I would definitely
Intentionally-
say that because
intentionally?
I've read the Quran. I mean, we have to read the Quran every year. I've read the Quran, and I have never read like what you're saying. I have never read that. It contradicts all the other verses. It doesn't make sense.
So is it true that Muhammad used to have a whole bunch of wives, including little girls?
No, that's not true.
That's not true either?
No.
How do you know that's not true?
Well, How do you know it's not?
Do you love those Muslims who cut off people's heads and put them on the internet?
Absolutely not. We don't consider none of these actions to do with Islam, because I just gave you a verse of the Quran, or maybe I didn't give it to you. I'll give it to you again now. In
I
chapter
know, but
6 of the Quran, verse 8.
I didn't hear your answer. Do you love those Muslims that cut off the
I said
people's
no.
heads?
I said no. I said no.
Do you love the Muslims that enslave the blacks?
I don't know this interview about love is. It's okay. Go ahead. Sorry. Yeah. Do I love who again?
Do
Go
you
ahead.
love
Yes.
the Muslims that enslave the blacks?
Which Muslims are you referring to?
The
I don't love
Arabs.
anyone who does. If they did that, I don't love the action. No.
Do you love the Arabs?
Who are you referring to? Please, because I'm an Arab now, and you made a claim about Arabic countries.
Oh,
Which
you're
country does
Arab?
slavery exists? Yes, I am. Yes.
And what? So you're a Muslim and you're an Arab. What is the Arab?
Arab is my race.
Oh, I
Arab is
see.
my race, and Muslim is my belief, my way of life.
So why do you live in Canada instead of an Arab country? So you support the Sharia law. You believe that living under that law.
I believe that for me in my own life and how I want to, carry myself under God's authority, yes, that Sharia law is important to me.
Do Muslims hate homosexuals?
Do Muslims hate homosexuals? No.
Is homosexuality evil?
Yes.
It is evil. And what should happen to a homosexual?
What should happen to a homosexual?
Once a Muslim find out that another Muslim is a homosexual, what should happen to that person?
They should, it depends. If
Is Islam a religion?
Yes.
It is.
It's one of the three Abrahamic religions, as far as I know.
And is it a religion of peace?
Yes.
Well, why do they chop off people's head and hold women back and throw homosexuals from the rooftops and they want to take over other countries? And they even say you can lie. They can say you can lie to the
Can we just
Christians.
pause for a brief moment?
Yeah.
You want to tell me about your personal black experience and use that as empirical evidence, as fact. But when I try to tell you about Muslims, you're like, nope, that doesn't work that way. I have my own perspective. If you have actual evidence to back up your claims, then we could have a conversation. Maybe I could describe where you are confused.
How about Allahu Akbar?
This means God is great.
Right, when they're about to kill you, blow you up, or chop off your head, or make sure women don't drive, or cut off their private parts. And
how
all
about
in the
this?
name of Allahu Akbar. I rest my case.
Christianity has far more bodies.
That's not true.
It's absolutely true.
No.
Well,
Ani was born in Malaysia and has been a Muslim since birth. Thank you so much for being here.
That's where the Eastern Christianity started, right?
Right.
Because the Christians protected the early Muslims from the Meccan tribes because they were out to kill him, the pagans. And he also had a covenant with the Christians after that we will always be protective of the Christians. We should never hinder them from their Christian traditions, their church places.
Are you serious? You're the only person I ever heard say this.
But you know what the thing is?
But what about that war between the Christians and the Muslims when, way back when, the Muslims were trying to destroy the Christians and almost did until the Christians decided to start fighting back?
You're talking about the Crusades?
Yes.
Well, okay, but that is a political war, right?
What drive members of ISIS to create the destruction, such as they carried out in Paris and Brussels?
Yeah. Well, in Europe, there's this ghettoization of Muslims. The discrimination against Muslims is very intense, or against minorities, not just Muslims, just minorities, right? Because they have this very European, Eurocentric mindset. There are very horrible social issues, social injustice that's been going on for decades, and so that sort of feels.
What's created.
Well, no,
ISIS?
European ISIS, right? So no, that's not what created ISIS.
You support Sharia law?
Well, yeah. Sharia law is it's the same laws of morality and integrity.
But should the Muslim be allowed to come to the United States and have their own law, Sharia law, as opposed to the American law?
Well, no, because that's the same thing. The same laws that you have, it's almost nearly the same laws for humanity. It's the same laws in the thing. They just got a different name because it came from somewhere else.
So you're being honest with me right now?
1,000%.
Do you love Christians?
To answer that question simply, I would say Muslims love goodness.
No, I'm asking
We love
do
goodness.
you love
If someone does
Christians?
good, If someone does good, I love that person who does good. If someone does bad, I don't love that person who does bad, right? So if you generally ask me, do I love all Christians? I would answer no. Obviously, I don't love all Christians. I don't love the Crusades. Went to Muslim lands and they were chopping heads, right? I don't love the Crusades, for example, right? So there are certain people I don't love. I don't love certain Muslims. I don't love extremist groups that go kills people and make our religion look bad. I'd have to give me a reason to love you, right?
So your answer to the question about do you love Christians is what?
Is no, I don't love everyone. I don't love all Christians.
But the Christian quote unquote crusade was about protecting themselves from the Muslims, trying to kill them.
No, I think that's historically inaccurate. In fact,
No,
the first. Okay, go ahead. You want to say something?
That's true. Is it evil to behead people?
Yes.
It is evil?
Yes.
Well, why is that taught in the Muslim religion?
That's show me where that's taught, man. Just because Muslims are doing it doesn't mean that Islam teaches it.
Then why are they doing it? They say they get it from the Quran.
I have no idea.
Allahu Akbar encouraged them to do it.
Yeah.
That is punishment.
Yeah.
Where are they getting that from? Are they lying about being taught that within that religion?
Like I said, completely twisted and perverse understandings of the faith. You have to realize that these things are not done in a vacuum. They're done in a socio-political climate. The hate that you're seeing emanating from that part of the world is hate that was brought upon them by bombs that were dropped upon them. And they're
Well, that's not true.
and they're
The
firing back
hatred-
in this evil sort of way.
the
So
most- the
don't
hatred that
don't
Islam-
ascribe things in a vacuum that have a much
But it didn't
larger
start with that.
world context than that.
But
You're
you're not
trying to
being honest.
simplify the manner.
You're not being honest right now. It didn't start with that.
I've lived for 40.
Christians have been fighting since way back when. There's always been.
True.
Christians have always been trying to protect themselves from Muslims. If Muslims love freedom, why is it that when they move to places over Europe, in Europe and France and other places, right? The first thing they do is attack the free people. They've had all type of Islamic bombing.
The first thing they do.
Why do they attack?
Man, there's millions of people, millions of Muslims that live in Europe. Are you voting for Donald Trump?
All the way.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh, wow. I don't know if I would have stepped on the show had I known that.
Why not? But you would have discriminated against me, and you would have profiled me. You said that's not good.
You're right. You're right.
But why would you profile me then?
I'm just talking.
Oh, okay. So there's nothing wrong with profiling then, right?
There's nothing wrong with profiling.
Right.
Do you like when the LAPD pulls you over just because you drive a fancy car and your skin color is a little too dark for them?
I don't mind at all, especially since
You don't
they
mind at
know
all?
that, especially since there are black people, young men, who are committing crimes up the yang, and he needs to stop me to find out what's going on.
So
I'm a citizen. I want to be protected. I don't take it personally.
You're fine with living in a police state in this ultra repressive sort of environment where everybody's fearful and everybody's looking over their shoulder because they don't, because they look a certain way.
Well, I'm not afraid of the police. I'm afraid of the blacks who would kill me.
Okay.
I really appreciate you coming on. Did you have fun?
It was interesting.
But not fun.
I don't know if it was fun.
Well, I appreciate you coming on.
You were interesting.
And thank you so much for tuning